Poor Snipedown. All right, guys, we're back with the MLG pregame show coming at you from Toronto, Canada. Now, I'm Chris Puckett, and right now I'm being joined by D-Mac and Nexy, the MLG's greatest gaming analyst. Welcome to Toronto, guys.
Oh, it's great to be here.
I love Toronto.
All right, now we talked a little bit, or at least the video showed everyone what was going on with the Halo 3 rosters. Let's talk a little bit now. Final Boss is the first team I want to tackle here. Now, after teaming with Walshy since 2004, the Ogres gave him the boot. They kicked him off the team. Walshy no longer a member of Final Boss. D-Mac, why'd they do it?
You know what? And it's tough to understand. I don't understand why they did it. When you look at Walshy, he was statistically the best player on that team in Orlando. He went positive 61 throughout the tournament. He also held most time for his team. Now, he's also been the captain since 2006. When you're booting a captain, it's kind of hard to fill a new role. And then you look at strong side. On the other side of the spectrum, he hasn't been as strong as he was in Meadowlands. He's been weak the past two tournaments. They could have made a different move.
Nexy, what is your take on the whole situation?
I mean, at this point, what does Final Boss have to lose? They come into Meadowlands, get first place. Next event, they get 7th place. I mean, they work back to 5th place, but still, if this team wants to hold a national championship this year, they had to make drastic changes. And regardless if Walshy's going positive 64, positive 60,000, he's not on the same page as the rest of his team, and that's why he got dropped.
All right, well, Walshy's off the team, but now Neighbor from Straight Rippin is the new member of Final Boss. He left Straight Rippin. D, why'd he do it?
I don't understand why he did it. When you look at Neighbor, statistically, he was the #1 player in Orlando. But guess what, Puckett? Number 2 was Tsquared. Tsquared and Neighbor together were truly dominant in Orlando. When something is so dominant, you should never break it up.
All right, well, Straight Rippin, the #1 team in the world. Nexy, what was he hoping to do there on Final Boss?
Well, I mean, stats are cool, but sometimes it's about chemistry. I mean, I think the Ogres played a big role in this one. I was reading Neighbor's blog back on MLGpro.com, and I quote, I got it right here, here we go. Back when I was a Halo 2 noob, I idolized the Ogres, says Neighbor. And not only that, I'm not going to stop there. T2's blog, I did a lot of reading this weekend. He's okay with the 2nd place finish in Orlando. Would you ever hear Neighbor say, I'm okay with the 2nd place? Would you ever hear the Ogre say, I'm okay with the 2nd place? No, you won't.
Alrighty, well, Neighbor looking to get that 1st place finishes and nothing but. He is the new member of Final Boss. Now, guys, let me ask you this one real quick. It's time for good move, bad move. Now, D-Mac, you're getting it first. Was dropping Walshy for Neighbor a good move by Final Boss?
Well, although I'm a big Walshy fan, I think he's a great player. I think it was a good move by Final Boss. When you're dropping a great player like Walshy, you're picking up someone who's just better. Neighbor is the best player in this game at this moment. He's a great player. They're going to get better.
Nexy, you think the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Not only that, but history is definitely repeating itself here. Old schoolers, pay attention. Back in 2004, STK, the Ogres, went and got Walshy from Team Free For All back in 2004, and they went and dominated for the rest of the season.
They actually named themselves Team Domination.
There you go. I mean, Puckett was there. But, I mean, history repeats itself. They're taking the best player in the league, as you said, in Neighbor, and taking away from Straight Rippin. It was an amazing pickup on Final Boss's part.
All right, well, that's Final Boss. They're done. They're out of the way. They're coming in at the 4th seed this event here in Toronto. Now, guys, let's talk about the team that is most affected by that move, Straight Rippin. Now, Tsquared, he had to be pissed after losing his best player. But you know what? He picked up a player who, in my eyes, is almost on the same level. He got Snipedown. Now, D-Mac, some people on the forums, they've been saying Straight Rippin's going to be better with Snipedown. You agree with that?
I'm going to have to disagree. Snipedown is a great player. We've seen a lot of great things in a very short time out of Snipedown. But when you look at Neighbor, statistically and visually, he is the best player in the game. He gets clutch, he spawns his team, he works great with the rest of his team. Snipedown has a lot of growing to go. When you take the best player in the game and you drop him for somebody who's in the top 5, you're not going to get better.
Nexy, what are your thoughts?
You know, I'm going to look at this from a different perspective here. If Straight Rippin ever had a chance to get better, it's going to be with Snipedown. I mean, this kid brings a new look at the game. He brings infinite potential. I mean, he's getting better every tournament. And who else did they have to choose from? They lost Neighbor, the best player in the game, sure, but they're picking up with a fresh player.
All right, well, also, Snipedown was a member of Triggers Down, Straight Rippin's biggest competition, the team that beat them in Orlando. So T2's got to be happy about weakening his opponents. Now, guys, let me ask you this one. Was picking up Snipedown over all the other free agents out there a good move or a bad move? Next, you take this one first.
It was a good move. I mean, who other free agents were there? I mean, are they going to pick up Macchio to fill Neighbor's place? I don't think so. And not only that, it got me thinking. You remember in Orlando how wild the fans were for the Triggers Down team? Well, now all those fans are Straight Rippin fans. They're going to come on board with Snipedown, and they're going to bring all that momentum, all that energy to the Straight Rippin team. It's a great move.
D-Mac?
I'm going to have to agree. When you lose somebody as good as Neighbor, you have to replace him with somebody as prolific as Snipedown. Snipedown has proven that he could hang with the best. He dominated Straight Rippin in the finals last tournament. That's a great move.
All right, well, Snipedown no longer a member of Triggers Down. He's on Straight Rippin. So now let's take a minute and talk about this Triggers Down squad. They just won Orlando. They just lost statistically their best player from Orlando, but instead they pick up someone brand new and a guy who likes to make awesome faces. D-Mac, give me the Macchio minute.
I'm going to have to say, first and foremost, Macchio is a winner. We all know that. He got second, and then he got third. He's a great player. But statistically, Macchio has not been there all season. When you look at his style of play, he was the only player on his team to go negative in the past two events. In San Diego, against top 8 teams, he had the least kills, least assists, most deaths, and least time for his team. Against Triggers Down, the team that he's playing on now, he's went negative 35 over a span of 7 games. That's an average of negative 5 every single game. Macchio has not proven that he can hang with the best statistically. We'll see if he could do it.
Well, good news for Macchio. He no longer has to worry about Triggers Down because he's on that team, so we might not see any more negativity out of him. But also I got to call you out here. Macchio got third in Meadowlands, second, third. Still, top 3 every single time. The kid is a winner. I like watching him play. But Nexy, some people say that Macchio and Snipedown, and I'll agree with them, have completely different play styles. How is that going to affect the new Triggers Down team?
Well, I'll tell you what, if anyone's going to get Macchio's back, it's going to be me. It's going to be hard to come back from that stats that you just pulled out, but I'm telling you right now, you'll never be able to do that again. Listen up. You ready?
Ooh.
Listen up. We're going to see a brand new Macchio this tournament. Do you know how easy it's going to be for him? Triggers Down is placed in the top 4 with a different 4th every tournament. That means all he's going to have to do is sit there and focus on himself. I mean, in the old Instinct, when he played on Instinct, he was always directing traffic, telling his players what to do, not really concerned about himself. But now all he has to do is sit there and think about what he has to do, not his teammates.
That's a very good point. Touché, he says. Yes. All right, guys, well, let me ask you this. Triggers Down has placed top 4 every single event so far. They finished first last event in Orlando. Dre, what are they getting here in Toronto?
All right, listen up. Macchio, Forum kids, I know you're going to hate me for this. Macchio, do not make me look silly. I think if Macchio can be on top of his game, we're going to see Triggers Down in the top 2. Go ahead and make your threads about it. Triggers Down top 2.
Wow, Nexy calling Triggers Down being in the championship match. D-Mac, your thoughts?
I'm going to have to disagree with that. I think Triggers Down is a great team. Yes, they have placed top 4 every single event with a different squad. That's why we're going to see Triggers Down in the top 4, not in the top 2.
Alrighty, well, D-Mac saying they won't make it to a championship match. We'll have to wait and see. That is 3 of our top 4 teams. We're going to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will talk about that Final 4 team, and also Nexy and D-Mac will tell me who is going to win Toronto. Stay tuned.